Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Go Tops Pod. I am joined by my co-host, Jack Abels, and we are super excited today to be joined by Chris Buchanan, the assistant basketball coach for the Portland Pilots basketball team. So thank you so much for joining us tonight, Chris, and welcome to the Go Tops Pod.
Likewise. Hey, thanks for having me on, guys.
Definitely. So Portland, just to give a little background on Portland, they are 6-2, and their last win just before Christmas was over Montana State. They won 62-59. I was lucky enough to catch the whole game. Just an awesome game to watch. Really a tightly contested game, and just a lot of good shots at the end. There was quite the comeback at the end, so it made for some exciting basketball. Especially love those midday games to turn on some stadium and just watch some good basketball. So I know I texted you after the game. It was my first full Portland game that I was able to watch, and it was a treat. One of my favorite games this year, to be honest. So just really appreciate that. It was kind of weird too. I'm looking at the screen and I'm like, hey, I think that's Chris on the screen, and I'm like, this is like never had that experience before. So just
I'm the far guy. I'm the guy at the end, so they put the important people at the front, but I'm the far guy at the end. So
yeah. So Jack, why don't you get us started off with some questions that we came up with for Chris?
Yeah, of course. Well, hey, Chris, thanks for coming on again. Just the first question for you. What's it like to work for Coach Porter, Coach Terry Porter? Such an accomplished player and coach. I know 1984, he was the only NAIA player invited to the 1984 Summer Olympic Trials. And how has that helped you develop as a coach and as a person?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, coach is the best. I mean, they call him the mayor of Portland here. I mean, he's a household name figure around here. Everyone loves him, and no, he's a great guy. He's a great guy. Really MBA terminology for a young coach like myself. I mean, that's really good to kind of sit in meetings and listen to him and kind of how he speaks and terminology. So I mean, pin downs. He'll call one action, one thing, and other people will call another, because just like I said, that NBA terminology. But no, it's great. He's a great guy. Like I said, his playing career speaks for itself. I mean, 17 years in the NBA, 10 with the Trail Blazers, two-time All-Star, head coach of the Suns, head coach of Milwaukee Bucks, assistants with the Pistons, assistant with the Kings. I mean, great, amazing guy to learn from. Like I said, I think terminology is the biggest thing for me as a young coach developing as well. But I mean, not to mention him, but obviously the other people on our staff. I mean, Tyler Gevin is head coach at Portland State. One of our, I believe, is over 100 games in his time there.
Wow.
A great guy to learn from as well as Ben Johnson. I mean, he was college roommates with Tony Bennett. Worked for his father, Dick Bennett, and then worked for Tony at Washington State. And again, those two are great to learn from as well. I mean, it truly is. It really is kind of just a blessing for me to learn from guys who have that much experience. I mean, I think Coach Johnson's like on his almost, I think 28th year of coaching. I'm 29.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So he's been doing this as long as I've been alive. And same with Coach Geving and same with Coach Porter. So it's great. The whole staff is truly awesome to learn from. They give me a ton of rope. And they're honestly really accessible, which is great too. I got a question. I can go bump into either one. Terry, Coach Johnson, Coach Gev. Hey, what's this action? What do you think? How do you think we can guard this ball screen? Stuff along those lines. And they'll like, hey, well, here's what I think. Here's what we call it. Coach Johnson, before my last game, came in and really helped me. I said, this is what I think we need to do. And I said, okay, perfect. And again, I mean, a lot of guys are kind of, I don't know the correct word be, take negative feedback on criticism. I'm the complete opposite with that. I absolutely love listening to these guys, because hopefully one day I want to try to be where they're at and be in their shoes. So
do you ever feel like with Coach Porter, do you feel like he is like, have you ever felt like he thinks that just because he was in the NBA, like he has that chip on his shoulder where he knows that when he recruits someone, he's like, hey, this is what the NBA is like. If you want to come here, I can help you get there. Do you ever feel like that's something that he uses with the recruiting process, or do you think he lets, like you said, let his resume speak for himself?
I think his resume speaks for itself, but I think he's obviously open to questions. Like I said, I mean, there's not too many guys in college basketball off the top of my head that have his level of professional experience, not even on the playing side, but the coaching side as well. He's a great guy. Like, he's a very, very personable. I mean, honestly, great guy to work for. Really good person, very close with his two sons who were on our team a couple years ago. Great guy. I mean, nothing but good things to say about him. So great person.
Awesome. All right. So then with your background in recruiting, working for UofAScout.com as an affiliate, how has the transition been like from ranking and evaluating players to actually going out there and recruiting them to come play for the Pilots?
Oh, it's different. It's different. No, but I mean, I did that as well as I worked for my former boss, Anthony Ray, who for a couple of years, I think was the national director of scouting for Reebok for, I don't remember the years, but it was in, I think, the early 2000s. I mean, and he really kind of took me under his wing when I was 20 and was on the road meeting coaches and seeing how they talk, how they evaluate, stuff like that. But no, it's recruiting stuff, man. I mean, I'm still learning this. Again, just like I said, I really lean on our assistants and Coach Porter for advice and stuff like that of how you attack certain situations, everything along those lines with the kid or with the prospect that you really want to get involved with. But no, it's different because I mean, when you're doing, like I said, with scout.com, which I worked for about a year, and then writing articles and stuff along those lines. And with Anthony, when I helped run events and things along those lines, run camps, it's really different because again, you're just going from the evaluating piece to the, we're trying to sign this guy piece.
Right.
And I think that's a lot. I think that's different. I think the evaluation really is key, and it's really huge in the process. But then again, of the day, you got to get the kid committed. You got to get his family, you got to get the kid on board. You got to get the family on board. I mean, sometimes there's a trainer, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, stepfather, whatever you name it. Is involved. And I think that's different from, like I said, the evaluation piece, which is more like the watching, writing, stuff of publishing, to, hey, you know what, I evaluated here. Now we got to try to get this guy in a Portland Pilot uniform. So I think that's a lot different.
Now, when you worked for Scout.com and you were writing articles, did you ever evaluate someone and you were like, well, I don't think this person's going to be much in the college basketball scene, and then it turns out they're like, I don't know, Jimmer Fredette or Rui Hachimura or someone like that? Just
any freezing cold takes?
Yeah, no. You know what? When I was a scout for the year, I followed around specifically University of Arizona recruits, and those guys were more than good enough. Those guys were more than good enough. Yeah. So that really wasn't then. It was, again, like I said, I did that piece with Scout for a year. And then I did with Anthony Ray, which is different. I was evaluating. I mean, you know what? It wasn't specifically Arizona based, which is where I'm from. It was national based. I remember I was 21. I went to the Reebok All-American Camp in Philadelphia, which is now in non-existence. That was an amazing camp. I mean, you see the players on players on players. And I mean, the who's who is in the stands. I mean, the John Calipari's or the Roy Williams. I mean, Tom Crean's guys along those lines were all there, which was just amazing as a young guy. It still is amazing to me as a young guy to see these guys who are just so accomplished and so good in the stand watching these kids. So not off the top of my head, I was like, you know what, that kid turned out to be a pro, and he didn't think he was. Not, unfortunately, none off the top of my head. So
I gotcha. Well, that's probably good. You don't have anyone coming after you when you get big time, you know?
No. There is a ton, though. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head. There's kids that West Coast, all throughout the country, that even didn't have high levels of recruitment, went to the right situation, ended up being multi-millionaires. So there's definitely those kids out there, and that's every assistant's job. Is I'm still learning to try to find those kids that, regardless if they're not even a pro, but a guy to be all conference guy for you.
No,
I mean,
I
really,
gotcha.
Kind of turn the page for your program. So
yeah, of course. And then one quick one. You graduated from the University of Arizona, the pride of Nick Foles, with a degree in communications and a minor in sports management. What sort of coaching aspirations did you have while you were in school? And then if you didn't have any, kind of what directed you into getting into coaching?
Sure. No, it's a good question. You know, I think I was like 13, 12, young. And really kind of, my grandma sent me a VHS. Actually, I was in 5th grade. I think I was 12. My grandma sent me a VHS tape, which is back then, which is, that's kind of, it's kind of weird to hear on a podcast. VHS tape to 2002-2003 season of University of Arizona playing Texas at home. Like we spoke on earlier, Rick Barnes was the head coach there. They had TJ Ford, James Thomas, Brad Buckman. I think a couple guys like that. In University of Arizona, like I said, still had Jason Gardner, Rick Anderson, Luke Walton, Channing Frye, and I think they started Will Bynum that game. And, I got that tape. I wasn't really into basketball at the time. I was just young dude, just kind of shoot hoops in your driveway type of thing. Grandma sent me that tape. I put it in and I fell in love about 2 hours later.
Mhm.
I mean, just that was that. After that, I started really looking into like the 2004 recruiting class, which is again going really back. I think that was like Sebastian Telefair, J.R. Smith, Josh Smith in that class. I think he was. Shoot, I'm probably missing a couple guys. Dwight Howard. There we go. Dwight Howard. Again, it's all tough. It's been a couple of years. So, but no, seriously, really fell in love with this. I just love this. And I would just analyze, just read scout.com, rivals, all these events. I mean, I was a younger guy. So I think they had the Adidas Junior Phenom Camp at the time. I think I'm saying that correctly. Okay. And that was like really elite guys who were like my age. And I was obsessed with it. I was like, what is this? What's this recruiting? Who's calling this kid? And we're sitting there reading and ciphering through it. And just kind of thing that's just stayed with me for a while. I went to play 2 years of junior college basketball. I joke around. I told you I sat for 2 years of junior college, but no, it was fun. I mean, I always wanted to play in college, like I said. So I played. We were part of two really good teams, won the NWAC championship, which is the kind of collection of junior colleges up here in the Pacific Northwest. My first year, second year, lost in the Final Four. I remember we had a very talented kid by the name of JT Terrell. Ended up going to USC, having a good career there. And after that kind of got done, I said, what can I do? And, like I said, Anthony Ray helped me, assisted my recruiting process when I was in high school, and kind of called him and said, you know what, I want to work in college basketball. I don't know what, but I want to work in college basketball. And he's the first person ever really asked me to do this. Worked for him for free for this whole time. I was there. And traveled with him in a little car and everything along those lines. He's got a lot of stories on that. But I would go to these events. I was like 20, 21 years old, go to these events, talking to these coaches, learning. And like I said, just kind of obsessed with what it looks like, what a good prospect looks like. And I'm not even talking like the elite level guys. I'm talking like high major kid, mid major kid, low major kid, NAIA kid, junior college kid, D2, D3. I'm still learning it, but kind of just what it looked like to evaluate kids. So, I kind of did that with him and was fortunate to meet a couple really good coaches and just kind of said, hey, you considered like getting college basketball. And I said, well, shoot, that's the dream. But, just kind of just stayed in touch with, those coaches and Anthony and stuff along those lines. So again, long story short, really wanted to, probably get into college basketball for a really long time. It's been a deep obsession of mine. So
I got you. Now just a little, side tangent here. When I'm assuming you played like college hoops, 2K8 and stuff like that on.
That's
on
way
Xbox.
back. I did.
Yeah. So would you take recruiting pretty seriously on those games as well? Would you kind of like play out things?
That's funny. I never did that on that. Like, I know I'm a big NCAA football fan, so I played NCAA football.
Yes.
That's going back. I'm sad it stopped. I'm still sad it stopped in 2014, but I did it a little bit on that, but I really didn't, to be honest. Just like I said, it's more just reading. Like I said, just read, look. I mean, who's involved with this kid? Who's involved with this kid? Pull up. I mean, at the time it was I think it was like Ball's Life and all that stuff was really coming out with hoop mixtape, and we'll just look at that and wow, look at this kid, what's he do? And I would just, like I said, if I wasn't in a gym at the time, even when I was in college, I was sitting there trying to see who the best freshman in the country was. I mean, it was just kind of just, like I said, an obsession of mine. So.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, I don't take recruiting seriously at all in those games, and it kind of bites me.
It's important. It's important.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of transition it to kind of what has been the story of 2020. I know it's affected sports, the shutdown of conference tournaments, the shutdown, the cancellation of the NCAA tournament, I guess COVID and the impact that it's had on college basketball. And in this one, kind of specifically on scheduling. So we've seen with Jay Wright today, I guess tested positive for COVID. So Villanova shut down their program. So that's been a common theme for schools in when people test positive, then you have to go on pause. and then you have to last minute schedule changes, especially in the non-conference slate. So I guess what has the scheduling been like in COVID, I guess, aside from just absolutely chaotic? Your game, Portland's game versus Pacific has already been canceled. That's on this, was supposed to be the 2nd of January. And I guess what are the challenges of potentially not knowing until maybe hours before the game if you're going to be able to play the next game?
Oh, I mean, you're asking the wrong guy. You're gonna have to ask Coach Geving that. Coach Tyler Geving that one. He's in charge of our scheduling. But no, you know what? He does an awesome job. I mean, it's like you hit the nail on the head. It's ever changing. I mean, we had a kind of a tournament here. We called MT. We had a tournament here with a couple teams, and the night before we got a call that one of the teams tested positive. And, yeah, so it's then you're trying to scramble and put Coach Geving's trying to scramble and put games in order. And like I said, I mean, we always commend him as much as we can, because I tell him all the time, like, man, I can't even imagine all this stuff that is going through it. Try to get this game. Can we bust to this game? And do we get the test back in time to the school for this game? It's ever changing. And I mean, it's really, really difficult. I mean, obviously it's really, really difficult in a typical year. Hey, shoot, I mean, I don't know. We probably already have 10 plus games already in, and traveling all over in tournaments and everything like that. But no, it makes it so tough with the COVID, and I really commend him, and you try to just get as many games as possible, because you hit the nail on the head. You never know when it's going to end. So just like you said with Jay Wright and Villanova, I mean, they're going to probably be in that 2-week pause. So it's tough. It's really, really tough. And let's hope it doesn't happen to us. So.
Oh, definitely. And I guess, so Portland, I've actually never been to Portland. I've seen and heard plenty about Portland. Does it help? I know with that MTE, does it help to get I guess if you know, does it help to get teams to Portland, knowing, I guess they're not doing things necessarily outside, but it's not like you're coming to, not to throw shade at myself, but Madison, Wisconsin is covered in snow right now. Just like, I guess, or maybe in a normal year, does that help at all? I guess as far as scheduling with being in such I guess a big city and kind of a cool city.
Sure. No, I think it does. I mean, I think the teams we had MT a couple of years ago too. I think it helps a little bit, but I think teams will just want to play. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, like in a normal time, hey, you can get in a flight from anywhere and come here and play. I mean, that is true that we do have an accessible airport. I mean, we're about our airport's located about 20-25 minutes from campus. So that's good. That's quick. Now there's a couple of places that are real tough to get. You got to fly into a major city and then bus about could be up to 3 hours sometimes. But so I think that does definitely help. I think some teams would probably look at that and go, hey, you know what, just like I said, this beats the heck out of a 25-minute bus ride, beats the heck out of a 3-hour bus ride. So I think that definitely does help in a little aspect. So.
Okay. Yeah. I hoping to get out to Portland at some point. That's on my bucket list. I know I was hoping to get out to the Pacific Northwest earlier this year, and then obviously not able to do it now, but definitely on the bucket list of places to go.
It's great. Welcome anytime. You'll love it.
Awesome. So I guess Gonzaga has been kind of the model of success in the West Coast Conference. They've won, I guess, numerous West Coast Conference regular season and tournament championships. With their past success, are they a model of success that you can compare your program to? And is there anything to take from them and to learn from them to use, I guess, to your advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously you kind of touch base on a model. I mean, I think they're a model for the country. I think they do such a good job. I think Coach Few has kind of done, I mean, just an amazing job there. Like you said, you turn it from a kind of a smaller school in the West Coast Conference to a perennial national championship contender every single year. I mean, I think they've done a great job with grad transfers. I think they've done a great job with their overseas guys, and a great job with high school kids. They're a different animal, man. I think they just do such an elite job getting the best players that they can, and they're just so confident, so good. And you know what, they play they play a tough schedule too. So I think Gonzaga, it's such a challenge, obviously, playing but I think they do a great job, and they're an amazing model, and I think every team would hope to be a Gonzaga one day, for a mid-major school. So no, they do an amazing job every time we play them. I mean, our guys are focused and locked in, because obviously I think since I've been here, I think we're ranked number one, top 10. They were top 10 every single time we played. So,
Wow.
and they're all of the top 10 caliber. So that's huge. So they're a great program, amazing program, great model, like you said. And hey, just like I previously said, hey, I wish we all hope to be Gonzaga one day. So.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it where they maybe were more of a regional recruiter before, but this year they got Jalen Suggs out of Minnesota, and then they're scheduling national now. They had West Virginia, they just played Virginia, they played Iowa, so they're not scared to schedule anyone. So just a tough team to beat. And yeah, Coach Few from when he took over the program many years ago to now, I don't know. I'm happy Wisconsin doesn't play them this year. That would kind of knock us down a few pegs. And I guess to go on the West Coast Conference, to go off on that. So in the preseason poll for the West Coast Conference, Portland was picked to finish last. Is this something that coaches and players look at, or is there a chip on the shoulder when they're playing, or is it something that people even really pay attention to? I guess, can you use it as bulletin board material at all?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll definitely pay attention to it. I mean, I think people definitely pay attention to it, and I think that really helped our guys with the good chip on their shoulder. I mean, obviously we had a good start, and most importantly, you need to continue that good start. But I think you look at it. I think people definitely look at it. But you just most importantly, you just got to kind of focus on us. And I think we've done a great job of that this year. Is like I said, just kind of tuning out. Like you said, some outside of your pick to finish 10th. That's not good. I mean, it's not number one.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's not even the top of the league. So I think that makes our guys really even hungry. I haven't touched base here. We haven't, as a staff, talked to them about it. But hey, I think people look at that type of thing. And I think, like I said, I think that makes them just hungrier and work harder and say, I'm going to get this rebound. I'm going to take it. I'm going to get this rebound in this tight game. I'm going to stay in the gym and shoot these extra shots to make sure if it is in a tight situation, I hit this shot. And we do get that tight win in conference that helps us improve from here to here. So yeah, that's kind of that with looking at those rankings. So.
And we've seen too kind of the proof in that bulletin board with obviously Portland's win over Oregon State in overtime earlier this year. That's just a great way to start off the season, and just to kind of see those the late nights, maybe the early mornings for practice and stuff like that. You start seeing that pay off, and it's all worth it once those wins start coming in. So I definitely a great start to the season at 6-2.
Just one quick question: what is your favorite Portland Pilots moment so far?
I think the win over Oregon State's definitely up there. I think that's definitely up there. It was just a hard fought game on both ends, and it was just tooth and nail from jump to finish. I think we had a little bit of a lead going into half, and boom, they came out and cut into the lead and then got their own lead. So I think that was just a real. Probably that, to be honest, that's a real signature win for our program. Everyone from our staff to our players just gave it 100, everything they had for that win, and it paid off. Ahmed Ali played great. Hit a big shot last second, and everyone played well. I mean, from Ahmed to Mike, he was a warrior down the block, to Eddie Davis, who's our junior college transfer, who's really coming to his own, to Isaiah Dasher, who's really nifty and smart at the basket, to Latrell Jones. I mean, he's one of the best athletes I've been around. And to our bench guys. I mean, obviously, touching what EJ said a little earlier in Montana State game, Hayden Curtis comes off bench with 6 blocks, the freshman. He's playing great. Clyde Griffin's coming off the bench. I mean, he's a real great scoring spark. And, this is just a great, tight group. And, I think, as I said, how tight the group is, I think that's as far as we can go. I mean, as far as we can go, and everyone was locked and everyone was on board with that Oregon State win. And it was great. I was very, very happy for our guys, and it was awesome. Made for a good ride home. So.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah. And then another quick one: where do you see yourself in 10 years, as far as coaching and career aspirations?
Oh, that's a good question. That's tough. I mean, obviously, you want to work at the highest level. I would love to work at the highest level of Division I basketball, but I mean, as I talk to our assistants, talk to Terry, I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts myself on guys, and you say, and you know what they say, kind of make the big time where you're at, make the big time where you're at, and just give 110% into where you're at now. And they said, don't worry. So I said, just don't worry about another job. Don't worry about this come. Don't worry about that come up. Just make the big time where you're at, focus where you're at, and the right opportunity will present itself to you. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Just wanted to, I guess, touch base on the one before you mentioned Ali. Yeah. Eddie Davis and Ahmed Ali combining for 48 points in that win over Oregon State. That's unbelievable. So yeah, that was a good one. I think so last question I had, and I hate to make all of my questions about COVID, but it's just kind of what's affecting the sport right now. So obviously your big focus is on recruiting. How has COVID affected the way you recruit? I know we're in a dead period right now. So I guess how can you work around that, maybe virtually? Like what are your options for recruiting, and how are you able to be successful?
I mean, that's a tough question. I mean, obviously in normal times, the whole staff, from head coach down to myself, would be out on the road and all over the country evaluating players and going to this tournament, going to this jamboree, going to this showcase, going to this high school, going to this junior college, going to this prep school. But now it's tough. Like I said, I mean, we all get a lot of film on different guys, and you kind of just got to cipher through it and kind of call people you trust. And if that's like scouting service guys, coaches you have good relationships with, stuff along those lines, and just call and kind of just really call is the best thing to do. Kind of call and just go through the films, cipher through, is this kid good enough? This kid not good enough? And obviously we can't have visits, can't do stuff along those lines. So it makes it tough, but like, to kind of just retouch on what I said, just kind of go with people that are really, so I personally do it, is go with people that you trust, and look at every bit of film that they send you, or somebody else that you don't know as much sends you film, and just kind of go through it, make a mental note, kind of put it in a sheet or on a board, stuff along those lines. And just kind of see what you can do until COVID's gone and you can get kids on campus or go see people in person. So.
Do you miss being on the road at all? Is it something you enjoy, or do you like staying back in Portland a little bit more?
I like the road. No, I do. It's cool. I mean, I'm just, like I said, I mean, I got here kind of in like an assistant ops role when I think I was 25, and just had my hands on everything. I wanted to do everything and learn everything. So just kind of did that. And when the opportunity did present itself to become an assistant, I was 27, and I was like, oh, this is the best thing. Well, you might as well tell me you just got that coaching job at Duke. I mean, it was, no, I mean, it's amazing. It was a blessing. Every day, I'm just so thankful to Terry and the staff, Coach Gavin, Coach Johnson, to kind of just putting trust in me and developing me overall to go on the road. But I love going on the road, man. It's cool. That was one of the big things I was looking forward to when I did get bumped up, is like, obviously, when you're in an ops role, you can't go recruit. You can't go. The only time you're on campus, or you're setting up travel, making sure everything's taken care of, you're not on the road. And no, that was cool. I mean, it was cool. I love going on the road. I love seeing different parts of the country. I don't like driving in different parts of the country, I'll tell you that. But yeah, getting adjusted to Florida driving is a little different than Portland driving. But yeah, no, it's awesome. I love going on the road. It's cool. Like, I like it. It's going to all these tournaments, meeting different guys, picking their brains, seeing kids that our program is recruiting and building relationships. It's awesome. I love going on the road. It's cool. So. Yeah,
I think in Florida, I've never driven in Florida. Every time I'm in Florida, I just Uber, because I do not trust myself, and I do not trust the people on the road in Florida. It's a little crazy down there, and I'm always
tough. No, it's tough. I remember I was actually telling my girlfriend, I was on the phone with her, actually, probably the most difficult driving I've had to do to date. And knock on wood, I haven't had any snow or anything crazy like that yet. But I was seeing a player, and it was the day before Thanksgiving. And I had to drive, I was in a small little town, to drive about 2 hours into Tampa to fly out. and
yeah.
it was getting dark, and I said, here we go. And got on the highway, and I had this huge semi truck behind me,
no.
lights on, for 2 full hours.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, oh, and it pretty much followed me all the way into Tampa, man. Maybe he was going to the rental car place. You never know. But no, that was like, oh man. I was like, I remember I pulled my rental car up, got out, pulled my bags out, and pretty much ran from that car, man. I was so happy to get, like you said, AJ, to get in an Uber and go to that hotel to fly home the next day. So
yeah. The 2 hours might be a little expensive for it. I know I heard a story way back where someone fell asleep, and I think they were in New York and they ended up in like Rhode Island or something in an Uber, like they just fell asleep and they like accidentally ordered I don't know how it happened, but yeah. So I just wanted to.
Our budget department would be mad at that one. They'd be real mad at that. I'll tell you that. That'd be a nice. Excuse me, Chris. Can you come in here for a second? If you Ubered for 2 hours, that'd be a bit of a problem.
So I think that's all the questions we had. Is there anything else you wanted to ask us, or anything that you wanted to plug for yourself or for the Portland program?
No. I seriously really appreciate you guys having me on. I mean, just like I said, 6-2, great start, great group, even better guys, and off the court, and I just need to keep plugging away every day, like you said, because you never know when COVID can put it on a pause, and just need to keep this positive energy and great togetherness going forward, and we'll see what happens as conference play approaches soon.
Definitely. And most of the games can be caught on Stadium. I guess quite a few of them out there. So definitely something that I found, a lot of good basketball there. So please give, I guess, these games a watch, and please give Chris a follow on Twitter at CB_Buchanan15. And the Portland basketball Twitter is just Pilot Hoops. So give them a follow, and I guess follow their season this year. Off to a great start, and really excited to see how the season, I guess, as it goes on, plenty more games. I guess this will be airing, but right now the next game up is against Seattle. So we'll see how that one goes, and really excited to see more games. So thank you so much for coming on, and thank you to all of our listeners for tuning in, and we'll talk to you next time.